Hello, ladies and gents. More here. Today, I would like to be talking about how to achieve true self love. Now, this is coming from a person who, about just a year ago, literally hated himself. I kind of felt like I didn't really want to be anything in life, didn't really achieve anything. I was telling myself things like, I don't really want to be too much in life. I don't really want to make too much money. I feel like that's for the greedy. Why I had that much greed? I used to say things like that because that's how I was sort of, number one, trained to look at rich people as these greedy monarchs who just take over and just want to keep getting more money to make poor people more poor. And in reality, that's not all of them. Not saying that not some of them are like that, but that's not all of them. And point is, a year later, I have a whole entire new outlook on my life and how I feel about myself. For one, I've completely changed my physique through going to the gym, which I'm going to talk about in this video. I've also just done more things, got into more hobbies, and try to get out a little bit more as well, which are other things I'm going to be talking about in this video. Pretty much, if you're feeling like how I felt a year ago, I feel like this is a video for you. So anyway, without further ado, let's get right into the meat and potatoes. The gym, and or just, aka working out. Now, I know this kind of seems superficial, like it's kind of like you're caring about your appearance, but I feel like when you actually put in the work to get an appearance that you desire, I feel like it adds an extra oomph to how much you appreciate it, because you understand all the work that you put in, the hours and the sweat, and sometimes even the blood, depending on like if you get hurt or not, that you put into, building a better body and building, a physique for yourself. I feel as though you appreciate that. You have no choice but to realize the work that you've put in, especially in a time and an era where you see your peers that can sometimes just completely pass you up. Like, you could be in the age range of 18 and 25, and your 18-year-old buddy or your 19-year-old buddy just got $1 million from inheriting like his parents' company, and you're still like at your mom's house, like trying to figure out like if you're gonna go to school or not. Like it can be kind of overwhelming. And then for the woman, like you could be like a regular good girl about to go to school or whatnot, and then your homegirl Patricia has an OnlyFans and she just made $1 million in one day, and you're like, oh my god, should I start an OnlyFans? And to answer that question, no, you should not, woman. You should not start an OnlyFans. I advise against that. Um, gym. Because when you put in that work, you put in that effort, you're bound to have some appreciation for that, and that equals one step of self-love. And before I get into the next step, I kind of want to throw in an honorable mention in between it. A good token of advice and something that you guys should keep in mind throughout this journey is that you need to change your mindset as well. I forgot, that's the biggest thing. And I know this sounds like one of the most mundane kind of like, of course, type things, or like okay, like easier said than done type things, but changing your perspective on your life and life in general helps a ton. Because like I said, a year ago when I was down and out, my perspective of life was, we're set up to fail, which some of us are, but I was looking at it like there's no point in trying, so to speak. Like I was more negative, pessimistic more than I was optimistic and hopeful and confident. You want to be the latter. You want to be hopeful. I don't think that's how you use that, but you want to be confident. You want to be the confident. You want to be the hopeful. You want to be the optimistic in this life, because that's what is needed to feel better about what you're doing. Because like I said, like I could be doing the same thing that I'm doing right now, but with that last attitude, or with the mindset of pessimism, and with the mindset of I don't really care, I wouldn't be able to do this at the rate that I'm doing, or probably wouldn't really even be able to do it at all because I'm so pessimistic about life. Someone who is optimistic, confident, can easily do something like this because they feel confident and optimistic about their journey going into a new hobby or a new stage of their life or a new career option. That's why confidence, optimism, and hope and hopefulness is 100% needed in this journey. Once again, it's one of those things that's easier said than done, but just keep that in mind. Now, the next thing after that would obviously be get more hobbies. You have to get more hobbies. You have to get into more things and keep yourself occupied, because the less time you can spend in your head thinking about too much and thinking about all these different things, it leaves room for bad thoughts, unproductive thoughts. Now, this is sort of how I kind of like train my brain, is I try to make sure that every single time I'm in my head is no longer than really 5 minutes, because after 5 minutes, and even that's a little too long, but after 5 minutes mark, you start to have unproductive thoughts. You start to overly think, and some might say that there's no such thing as overthinking, but once you get to the point where you're questioning a question, or once you get to the point where you're questioning something that's already been done, that is when you're overthinking, my friend. So now, I don't want to sound like, like your dad or anything like that, but productivity is a byproduct of self-love. The way to achieve self-love is through not being in yourself. And I know that sounds kind of like backwards, but bear with me here and I'm going to explain it. Because you are yourself, and you will naturally, or not naturally, but some of us are very critical of ourselves. And when you have time to look at yourself and you're just sitting there doing that, you start to get real nitpicky and very like, what's the word? I don't know the exact word right now, but you get really deep into yourself and you start to pick apart every little detail, every little thing about you that you don't like. And especially if you have this pessimistic mindset, this could really be really bad for you, because then you just bring yourself into a well and that you just can't get yourself out of. So the best thing to do is always keep yourself occupied, keep yourself doing something, and make sure that you enjoy it. That's another thing, because if you don't enjoy it, you'll hate the process. A good quote that I can leave you guys on this segment is one that I just came across like a couple weeks ago. I've heard it before, but not like this. And I feel like the way that it's been explained to me just will really bring it home. The quote is, "It's not the destination, it's the journey." And this is so important because a lot of people get caught up when they make goals for themselves. They get caught up in the goal itself, when in reality, you should be more okay and more interested in the steps and the journey that it will take for you to get to that goal. You is better off to look at it in small increments than to look at the whole enchilada. You want to look at it as like, think about a rewards, like a fast food rewards app thing like that, or like, let's say like you have like a rewards app for Starbucks, because I have that, right? So you know how like you earn stars for, paying for your Starbucks or whatever, like that, like you earn like $1 each, you earn like a star each dollar. Think of it like that, and they show you like on the app little increments of how many points you have, and like it shows like how you're getting closer to a certain number. You started off at 0, and then on that same number line you see 400 all the way at the end. You're about at like 40, 90, right? Like you're somewhere around there, and you look back like, dang, like I started this account like yada 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 ago, and I already have 90 points. You feel motivated to do more when you go into these places and they tell you, oh, you have 100 or something odd points. Oh, I have that many points. Oh, let me continue putting in more. I didn't know I even had that much. You get the point. When you just have energy into something, you feel a lot more better about yourself. You feel like you're doing something. You feel happy because you have a goal. Next, I will say will most likely have to be getting out more. You have to get out more. During this year, and I know COVID, this year that I was talking about was also a COVID year. These last 2 years was COVID years for me. And we're, obviously had to be isolated a little bit. But now that that's kind of sort of over, I think it'll be best for us all, including you, whoever's watching this video, to get out more and try to talk to people and really like trying to meet new friends. And obviously don't force it if that's not your lane. But, obviously just being around people more will dramatically increase your mood and as a byproduct, your self-love. And the best way to explain this is, well, as humans, we kind of desire and need other human interactions. That's why for the last however many years, society has been a thing. Or civilization has been a thing. We've kind of found ourselves in societies in close-knit communities, because that's what humans desire. Rarely do you see people not around other people. Every single time you see a person, you're usually going to see another, and then once you see two, you're probably going to see another. That's exactly the same, and that's just how it's always been. We crave human interaction. So being just around people, hearing people talk, hearing the dialogue, seeing facial expressions on the phone or whatnot, that will dramatically increase your mood. And if you're a little bit of a narcissist, you might look around and see these people and feel like a little bit better about yourself because you feel like you're better than them. And if that's how you roll, then hey man, whatever helps you achieve self-love. But I do not condone narcissism in any way, shape, or form. If you're a narcissist, I suggest you go get help, a therapist, and try to figure that out, because narcissism will get you nowhere and will leave you ending up alone. Anywho, now that that's out the way, just get out more, man. And those are really all the steps that I can really give about achieving self-love. I might do a part 2 to this video, but those are the 3-4 main steps that I kind of took and the things that I saw myself have to do to get better. I also got a therapist, so I think that will help too. But obviously, like, not everybody can get a hold to a therapist. I'm not even financially stable enough to actually have a therapist. This is just because of my Medicare and my benefits or whatnot. So I guess I'm lucky. But yeah, therapists will also help. But you can honestly just through YouTube. YouTube helps. Watch videos on the topics that I've talked about today. Trust me, man, YouTube is like revolutionary because you can really learn anything, and really people can help you through things. So any of these topics that you seem interesting or things that you want to try out yourself, by all means, look it up. And if it's anything that I want to leave you guys off on this video, and I'm going to say this probably at the end of all my videos, is do not only watch me. Do not only take my word as Bible. Do not listen to my videos and be like, yeah, that's good enough for me. Or like, don't listen to my videos and be like, oh, I believe him. I want you to disagree with me. I want you to cause discourse. I want you to go on Google and look up the things and look up self-love and see if my words correlate to what you feel and what other people are saying. Check the consensus. Do not be a follower. Be a leader. More out.